Okay, so let's unpack this. The whole AI and robotics scene,
Yeah.
it's not just changing, it feels like it's accelerating incredibly fast.
It really does. It's almost hard to keep up sometimes. Every week, something new, something groundbreaking.
Totally. So
Well,
for this deep dive, we're trying to cut through some of that noise, right? We want to pinpoint what's genuinely significant, like right now.
and what's really interesting, I think, is how these advancements aren't happening in isolation. It's all interconnected. Progress in one area seems to boost another.
Exactly.
Yep.
We've looked at a recent overview, kind of synthesized the big updates. So think of this as your curated guide to what's new and important.
Okay.
We'll get into how large language models are getting smarter for like deep research. Think ChatGPT, Alibaba's Ken Chat.
Right.
Then how AI is showing up everywhere. Smartwatches, cars, even your TV. Google's Gemini is a big part of that story.
Yeah, that expansion is pretty significant.
We'll also touch on TikTok making still photos move, which is kind of fun, but also interesting tech. And of course, Tesla's Optimus robot. The progress there is pretty wild.
Definitely worth talking about.
Plus some stuff on making AI more efficient for businesses, like Salesforce's new model, and faster image generation from FreePic.
So a really broad range of topics then.
Yeah. And the mission for you listening is, hopefully, to walk away with a clear picture of these developments, understand their potential impact without feeling totally overwhelmed.
Sounds good. It's about clarity, understanding what actually matters in this whirlwind of progress.
Right. So let's start with Google Gemini. We know it's on phones, but now it's branching out significantly.
It really is. They're pushing it onto Wear OS smartwatches, Android Auto in cars, Google TV, and even into augmented reality with Android XR, working with Samsung on that.
It feels like they're aiming for that, what's called ambient computing idea.
Exactly. AI that's just there, seamlessly integrated, ready whenever you need it. Less about specific devices, more about the environment being smart.
So the smartwatch use case, imagine your hands are full, right? Cooking, maybe gardening. Yeah, you can just talk to your watch. Hey, Gemini, remind me about Locker 43, or find that restaurant my friend recommended. No fiddling.
And that natural voice interaction is key. It lowers the barrier, makes it feel less like using tech and more like just, well, asking for help. It's more intuitive in those moments.
Definitely. And then there's Android Auto. This sounds like a big step up for in-car AI.
I think so. The focus is on understanding natural language while you're driving, so you're not distracted.
Like asking, find a charging station near that park on the way to the post office.
Precisely. It should be able to parse that complexity. And things like summarizing long text so you're not tempted to read them.
Oh, that's useful.
Yeah, and real-time translation, too. Plus, they're teasing future stuff like Gemini Live doing news summaries or even audiobook digest during your commute.
Wow, okay. Turning the car into more of an intelligent assistant.
Pretty much. Making driving safer, maybe more productive, more efficient. It's about context. The AI knows you're driving and adapts.
And even on Google TV, it's about context, right? Helping find, say, age-appropriate action movies.
Right, or answering kids' questions about space by pulling up relevant YouTube videos directly. Saves you scrolling endlessly.
Which, as any parent knows, is a lifesaver.
Absolutely.
But the Android XR stuff with Samsung sounds really futuristic. Planning a vacation in a headset.
Yeah, imagine exploring maps, watching immersive videos of places, getting tips, all within that virtual space. It's a glimpse of maybe a more embodied internet.
Interesting. Okay, let's shift gears. TikTok and AI alive. Animating static photos.
Yeah, it's basically taking a still picture and adding subtle motion within TikTok stories.
So like making the clouds drift in a sunset photo, or adding a bit of movement to a group selfie.
Exactly. Shifting colors, maybe ambient sounds for that sunset, little blinks or smiles in the selfie. It adds a bit of dynamism.
It sort of blurs the line between photo and video in a simple way.
It does, and it democratizes that kind of simple animation for social media. Makes storytelling a bit richer, perhaps?
And they're building in safety checks, right?
Yeah.
Moderation, AI labels.
Yes, which is important. Moderation, clear AI-generated labels, and embedded metadata so you know it's AI-created, even if it's downloaded.
That transparency seems crucial as this tech gets more common.
Definitely. Helps people understand what they're seeing.
Okay, now for a completely different kind of movement. Tesla's Optimus robot. Dancing.
Huh, yeah. It looks fun, but it's a serious demonstration of improved motor control, balance, agility.
It wasn't just basic swaying, apparently.
Yeah.
Pretty complex moves, smooth range of motion.
And trained entirely in simulation using reinforcement learning, they say.
Right, that trial and error learning in a virtual world. They did mention a safety cable, though.
Yeah, but apparently just as a precaution against a, very rare fall, it can support itself.
Gotcha. And this is leading up to the 3rd-gen Optimus, which has some big upgrades.
Huge upgrades. The hand, for instance. 22 degrees of freedom now, up from 11.
Which means more dexterity.
Much more. Think about how many ways your hand can move each joint rotation. More degrees means it can grip things better, handle tools, do more intricate tasks, like a human hand, almost.
Okay, that's a big step. And it can recharge itself now.
Yes, self-recharging. Essential if you want these things running continuously in a factory or eventually maybe a home.
And the AI learning is getting better too, learning new tasks more naturally.
That's the claim. Moving beyond just pre-programmed routines towards more adaptable learning.
Musk's plan is thousands in Tesla factories soon, doing repetitive, maybe dangerous jobs.
Seems to be the initial focus, yeah. Boost production, improve safety, makes sense for factories.
But the long-term vision is much broader. Lawn mowing, groceries, dog walking, babysitting.
That's the ultimate vision Musk talks about, a general-purpose humanoid robot for everyday life. Still a ways off, probably, but that's the direction.
And the cost? Around $20,000, maybe with rental options?
Yeah, that price point suggests they're aiming for mass production eventually. Rentals could lower the barrier for businesses to try them out.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, let's switch back to AI models themselves, specifically for deep research. Alibaba's KenChat has a new feature.
Yes, a deep research feature. The idea is to help users explore topics much more thoroughly than a simple query.
How does it work, roughly?
You ask an initial question, then it prompts you to narrow down your interests, or you can ask it for surprising insights. Then it compiles a detailed report from various sources.
So it saves you time hunting down and synthesizing info.
Exactly. Big time saver for study, work, or just, curiosity. And KenChat is part of Alibaba's bigger suite of advanced multimodal AI models.
And OpenAI is upgrading ChatGPT's research side, too, with PDF exports.
Yeah, this is a really practical update. You can now export the research conversations or reports ChatGPT generates directly into a nicely formatted PDF.
Not just a text dump.
No. Properly structured, includes images, tables if they were generated, citations, source references, much more professional.
That's available for Plus subscribers.
Correct. Makes organizing and sharing that research much easier for, actual reports or papers. Adds credibility, too, with the proper sourcing.
Right. Okay, now thinking about AI in the business world, Salesforce has something called XGen Small, aimed at enterprise efficiency.
Yes, it's their answer to concerns about the high cost of running large AI models, the GPU costs, and also data privacy for businesses.
And their strategy is small but long. What does that mean?
It means the model itself isn't enormous, so it's cheaper to run, but it has a very, very long context window, up to 128,000 tokens.
Tokens being like words or parts of words, so it can understand a huge amount of text at once.
Exactly. Think of it like having a much better short-term memory. It can process massive internal documents, code bases, long reports, all in one go, without constantly needing to fetch info from outside.
Which is faster and better for keeping company data private.
Precisely. Less reliance on external retrieval, keeps sensitive info contained, big plus for enterprises.
And building this involved a pretty complex process. Data curation, fine-tuning.
Oh yeah, trillions of tokens for initial data, careful filtering, balancing code, math, language. Then advanced techniques to stretch that context window, instruction tuning, reinforcement learning. It's sophisticated.
Making it versatile for complex business tasks without being slow or inaccurate.
That's the goal. Handle those really long, complex analyses efficiently.
Okay, one more area of creative AI. Image generation. FreePic has Flight 7B.
Yes, it's a distilled version of their larger flight model. Smaller, but designed to be just as good, basically.
Distilled? How does that work?
It's called knowledge distillation. You train the smaller model using the outputs and kind of the knowledge learned by the bigger, more complex model. The student learns from the master, essentially.
Clever. So Flight 7B has fewer parameters, about 30% less complex.
Roughly, yes. But it generates images just as detailed, apparently, just faster and using less memory.
That's a win-win.
Definitely. Faster workflows, less hardware demand. And it plugs into common tools like diffusers and comfy UI, which is important for artists.
Any tips for using it?
They suggest longer, more descriptive prompts work best, and generating images above 1 megapixel for better quality.
And it's still copyright safe for work.
Yes, retains those characteristics. Important for FreePic's user base, who often need images for commercial use. Reliable, appropriate output.
Right. So, wow, that was a lot. We've covered quite a bit of ground.
We really have, from Gemini spreading everywhere to TikTok animations, Optimus dancing and getting dexterous hands, smarter research tools, efficient enterprise AI, faster image gen. It's a snapshot of incredible momentum.
It really feels like this stuff is moving out of the lab and becoming, genuinely practical, impacting daily life, changing how industries operate.
Absolutely. The transition from theoretical potential to real-world application is happening faster and faster across the board.
So bringing it back to you listening, thinking about all this, the AI in your car, the robots in factories, the smarter research tools, which of these advancements feels like it has the most potential to really change things for you personally, or maybe in your line of work?
Yeah, it's a good question to reflect on. Where do you see the biggest impact landing first? It's definitely worth thinking about.
Because this isn't the end point, right? This is just the latest step.
Not at all. It's an ongoing evolution. Staying curious, keeping up with where this is all heading,
Mm-hmm.
that's probably the best approach right now. There's definitely more to come.